Hey, there's no doubt you've heard about the audio social network called Clubhouse. Now, with several other audio only social networks popping up, this is an awesome opportunity to build your micro influence and sell more of your products and services. Grab pen and paper. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Amped Up Influence, the podcast, where we share tools, resources, and strategies to help you amp up your expertise with the power of your voice so you can become an influencer in your industry. Here's your host, Shirley Hayes.
Yep, that's me. Welcome to the podcast. I appreciate your time. Man, it has been a crazy couple of weeks. I've spent a lot of time revamping my social media strategy, overhauling some stuff. And which, if you want to build your micro influence, you may find yourself adjusting all the time. That's just the way it is. I did 20 years in radio, and I can tell you, even when a radio station decides they want to start a radio station in a market, they have to research a demographic they want to target in that market. And then they've got to decide based on the research what kind of radio station that target demo wants. But even after all of that, there's always some tweaking of the format to get it right because people change, circumstances change, and you have to be willing to get in there and be flexible enough to change when you need to if you want to sell more of your products and services, and in their case, sell airtime and get more listeners. So I decided to make some changes based on the results or lack thereof. But I'll be sharing my results with you in future episodes as far as what works and what doesn't work so that you can use whatever you can use to help you build your micro influence. Now, one of those changes is how I intend to approach audio social networks. You would think someone with my background in audio, that'd be a piece of cake. But it is a little different, and you have to approach it in the right way to make it work. But I still believe you can use audio platforms to build your business and your micro influence. Now, I did a couple of Clubhouse events as an example that nobody showed up for. I take that back. A couple of my friends who knew me came, and it was just the three of us. But you know what? That's good because it taught me that what I was promoting wasn't interesting or it was targeting the wrong audience. So I decided to stop and become a student of the game, as they say, and figure out a new strategy. Now, I tend to implement new strategies in 30-day time frames, but within those 30 days, I'll make adjustments if need be. Now, that's something I learned from a program by Todd Herman called the 90-Day Year. Now, I am not an affiliate of the 90-Day Year. I just think it's a great program as far as productivity and setting goals. It's amazing. But I bring that up simply to keep you thinking that when you create something, it may not work right away. But at the same time, when you create something, you have to watch what you're doing. You have to be really aware as you're going along in time. You can't just set something up and just say, okay, I'll just let this go for 90 days and see what happens, or 6 months, whatever your time frame is. And then at the end of that period, okay, let's see what worked and what didn't work. Why waste time and money? If you do it in shorter time frames, you can see what's trending up, what's working for you, what's just sitting there and not working, and what things are just something that you should keep going. Because there may be some part of your strategy that's working so well. Okay, let's put our attention there. That's the point I'm trying to make. So when you're doing that, when you're talking about building your micro influence, that's where tracking everything that you do and paying attention to what's working and not working is going to be to your benefit. And doing that with audio social platforms is the same way. So let's get into what I'm going to go over in this episode. You're going to learn what Clubhouse and other social audio platforms are and how they work, how to decide which platform you should create a presence on, why audio platforms can be even better for engagement than video, and I'm going to give you 5 ways you can use social audio platforms to help grow your business. All right, so let's get started. So what's Clubhouse and these other social audio platforms, and how do they work? Basically, Clubhouse is, of course, you've heard by now it's all audio, but if you haven't been on there, you still may be a little confused as to what are they doing there. Basically, when you're on Clubhouse, it's almost like you're listening to your favorite radio station without all the radio stuff, like commercials and all those kinds of things. It's more like listening to a talk show or even a podcast. But what makes it so great is the level of engagement that you can have. Instead of just being someone who is an observer of what's going on, of the discussion, you can actually raise your hand and your voice can be a part of that discussion. And that's what makes it so amazing to me. If you enjoy listening to talk radio, for instance, you're going to love audio social platforms. But the level that you can engage with it is really where the magic happens, in my opinion. Now, Clubhouse is getting all of the attention. However, here come the competitors, right? Clubhouse, by the way, is only available as at the time of this airing of this episode, only available on iPhone. They are working on an Android app, but I can tell you, if you go to Google Play right now, you'll see dozens and dozens of apps that say Clubhouse. They are not the official Clubhouse apps. Some of them are even using the official Clubhouse icon to get your attention and have you thinking, well, this is the app. They aren't. Some of them are even malware, so you have to be very careful. When it does launch, the official app will be by Alpha Exploration Company. They own Clubhouse. So just a word to the wise there. But there are a lot of competitors launching. Twitter Spaces is in beta right now. That's their answer to Clubhouse. Facebook has announced they're coming out with their own Clubhouse kind of audio platform. Slack. Reddit is in beta testing with their audio Clubhouse platform. LinkedIn and Spotify are others who are all launching audio-only social platforms. Now, there are also platforms that are considered rivals of Clubhouse that are already out in the mix. Discord is one. They're making some changes to position themselves as a stronger player against Clubhouse. There's Spoon and there's Riffer, which is recorded audio. So there are a lot of choices and a lot of options when it comes to audio social networking and marketing on those platforms. So how do you decide which platform you should create a presence on, or even if you should? I suggest starting with just one audio platform, right? Get your feet wet and get comfy. Learn what works and what doesn't. Keep track of everything, like I mentioned earlier. Whatever you do, make sure you keep track of what kind of impact did it have, or did it have nothing at all? What changes can you make, or what changes do you need to make it better the next time? And try not to do a whole bunch of changes at one time. Otherwise, you won't know what change helped you get to the next level. Okay? Spend some time on the platform. Is your target audience spending time there too? Search for topics, and here's one way to find that. Search for topics, see what's trending, and if those particular rooms, if you're on Clubhouse or any audio social platform, see what's trending. If it's open, if it's a public room, go in and listen to what they're talking about, especially if the subject matter is something that's related to your business and what you do or what you're trying to become a micro-influencer in. And find out what they're talking about. Take a note of what questions are being asked, because if that's your target market, that's a great way to do some research intel to see what your market wants and are you satisfying what they want. So that's a great way to do that. And then if you find you're getting traction, once you establish yourself on an audio social network, you can either rinse and repeat and use your strategy on another audio platform, or just stay with one. Because remember, for each platform you're on, you're going to have to engage on every one. That's the big difference with these audio platforms. It's not like you can be on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and post the same thing on each one, or a graphic or whatever. These audio platforms mean that you have to be engaged. Everyone except for Riffer, which is recorded audio only, it requires you to be there live. There are some recordings on Clubhouse. As long as you don't violate the terms of service, you can record some content and then play it back in a room. But that's as far as that goes. So if you're going to be on more than one platform, you want to just make sure that you've got the bandwidth or staff dedicated to your audio marketing efforts, because it can be very time consuming. So just keep that in mind. So I think audio platforms can be even better than video when it comes to creating your following to build your micro influence. And that's because of the environment. The environment is much more personable, and I know I'm biased because I'm an audio person, but it's like having a conversation. I was speaking with a client the other day, and she wants to do more on audio platforms, but she's absolutely terrified. And I said, well, think of it this way. I said, how well do you do on the phone? Do you talk on the phone? Of course I do. Are you scared to talk on the phone? No. You talk to new clients on the phone all the time. Doesn't bother you? No. Okay, here's what you do. Turn off your phone, and when you're ready to do your social audio room, turn your phone off, put it up to your ear, but speak into the microphone, and pretend you're talking to someone and having a conversation on the phone. She did it, and she said, I can't believe how easy that was and how I was able to talk to people back and forth. I really felt like I was just having a conversation. I said, well, that's because you were. So sometimes it just takes a small little tweak. So if you have any mic fright, try doing that exercise and it might help you too. So 5 ways you can use social audio platforms to help you grow your business. Now, this is just 5 quick things. You can come up with a lot more, but this is just to get you thinking. You can create a room, eventually a club if you're on Clubhouse, about your business. Say if you're a life coach, you might do a room on how to be confident and have people come in and listen to your, whatever it is that you have for them, and they can ask questions. And if you're an author, for instance, you can do a book launch. You can talk about your book and the chapters, and I mean, you can have a book club on steroids on an audio platform. Another idea, you can have an audio webinar. Now, really, it's just people coming to your room. This is still the same environment. You're talking and they're listening, and maybe they're asking questions. But in this case, when I say an audio webinar, look, the tech is the same, but what you choose to call it, or the name that you created, that's what makes the difference in the minds of the people who are coming to your room. So think of it that way. Networking, you can go to public rooms, see who's there, check out their profiles, and if it makes sense to connect, do so, because it's a very intimate environment. You can create masterminds, private mastermind groups. At least on Clubhouse, they have public rooms and they have private rooms. And you can create group coaching sample sessions, for example. Think about what you can do. The 5th one, you can use audio platforms to launch new products and services, make announcements about things that are coming up, things that you're working on, things that you're excited about. There are so many possibilities where you can tap into audio. So, listen, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an insight on audio social platforms to get you thinking about how you can include them in your marketing to amp up your micro influence. Now, I am excited because coming up in the next episode, I'll be interviewing Philip Brook from voiceform.com. Voiceforms is tech that lets you create surveys, and it lets respondents answer those survey questions with their voice. You know I'm all geeked up about that, right? I can't wait to chat with Philip. He's a great guy. I think it's going to be some amazing content, and I want you to make sure you put on your calendar and check out that episode. That's going to be next week, because we want to use everything we can to help amp up our influence, to become those micro-influencers in our industry. And this could be one of those ways to do that. So thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. I'm Shirley Hayes. Ciao for now.